Talking about Tolkien, Ben. Did you go?
Talking about Tolkien, Nick.
Good. Because if you didn't, like I can't handle one more thing going wrong today, Ben. So if you didn't go, oh boy. The
Can't
Discord
handle one
would
more
be
delay.
the Discord would be cutting out, is all I'm gonna say. So talking about Tolkien. Chapter, where are we on? 12? The inside information.
Chapter 12, Inside Information. This is where it gets good. This is the return of the letters segment, the return of the inspiration
What we've
segment.
been reading before is fucking garbage, but now, 12 chapters in, this is the good shit.
No, I mean, it was good. The past couple of chapters, I mean, listeners will know if they follow along.
Yeah, they were like, and we're done.
A little light on plot. There was one where I literally just started reading facts about the movie in the middle of it. But I got proper segments this time, so.
Yeah, stuff is happening now. We're at the mountain. We're in the mountain. God damn it, there's a dragon in there, Ben.
It's the one thing we forgot to consider.
And the dwarves are like, all right, we've got a solid plan. I've been thinking about this a while, and I think, get him, Bilbo, and they push him in there.
And I think we should ask Bilbo what the plan is. Bilbo, what's the plan? You've been promoted, Bilbo. You are now the wizard.
Hey, you've got a magic ring, so...
Yep. You got magic powers. You've saved our bacon 2-3 times now using violence. So you have been elevated to the position of wizard, and I am looking to see what you got. I'm excited to see what you make of this opportunity.
I assume it involves just stabbing a dragon in the face with your magic ring on, so it can't get you. So he goes in.
It's certain. Yeah, he goes in. He's not sure what he's going to do.
I think Ballin, he follows him part of the way as a sign of moral support, and Bilbo.
And also, to the dwarves' credit, so Balin goes in halfway, so that if Bilbo is attacked by a dragon,
he can shout to the others.
He can scream, and Balin can scream too, and then there will be a chain of dwarves that run in.
Presumably
just
to
in
get
time,
massacred one after the...
Yeah, just in time to slide on a pool of hobbit blood all the way across the floor into the dragon's mouth.
Like a slip and slide.
Like a slip and slide.
If you want, there's a freebie, Ben. You grab a slip and slide commercial clip and just slam it in there.
It's like a slip and slide, but with the blood of a tiny childlike man.
So Bilbo's in there, and he's a little creeper looking at Smog, who is sleeping on his giant treasure hoard. And Bilbo's like, you know what? I'm not a dragon slayer. I'm a burglar. So I'm going to burgle.
Yeah, I was in a corporate meeting today.
Oh, God.
It's always fun to me to go to like the big, like all hands meetings with the bigwigs, the people that like truly have never talked to another human being.
They don't even know what attics are, Ben. You talk about storing stuff in your attic, and they're like, what the hell is an attic? And you explain it to them, and they're like, oh my God, I think I have one of those, maybe.
I have no idea what's in there.
I send the help up there to clean out all of the bats and stuff.
No, it's the reason I mentioned the corporate meeting was because I was told that one of the most noble things we could do as wage slaves is
give back to the company.
Own the gray.
Own the...
So like your role might be burglar, but there's these gray areas that nobody took into account.
Oh, get fucked, guys.
And you
own the gray.
We gotta own the gray. Like when you see something that needs done, even if it's not your job, you should do it. You should just, we're all working for the same company. We're all family here. We're all family on this enterprise. And what's good for one of us is good for all of us. It's a little better for me than you, but the rising tide, all ships, something about that. And Yeah, so Bilbo, you go in there. You're there as a burglar, yeah. Yeah, I wanted you to steal stuff. But, like, own the gray. If you see a dragon that needs slaying, well, you stick your little dagger in there.
Own the gray.
You might hit something. Own the gray. That's what I'm saying to Bilbo.
Nah, Bilbo's like, I'm quiet quitting. I just realized that you're going to give me a 1/14th share of this treasure. First of all, I've lifted more weight in this party than anyone besides Gandalf, okay? And maybe even him. And you're like, how are we even going to transport that back to the Shire? We're going to rent a cart and cart it back? Gonna hop on a train?
You're getting a little ahead of yourself.
Yeah, he doesn't consider that until after he talks to Smaug, which is when he goes back into the treasure room. For now, he's just like, all right, you know what? Souvenir time. I'm going to get some of mine. This cup right here, that's mine now. Yoink. And he goes back, and the dwarves are like, oh my god, Bilbo got a cup, we're saved! Yeah! And then there's like this horrible cry of anger coming from the mountain, and they're like, oh my god, Bilbo stole a cup, he's gonna get us all killed, you son of a bitch!
I do want to read from the book here. So Bilbo steals the cup. Now, a thing you might not know about dragons is that dragons, they don't trust banks. So they keep all their wealth, I was going to say under their mattress, but it kind of is their mattress.
Yeah.
And so they know it all, though.
Yeah.
By like feel and scent. If you touch one coin of a dragon's hoard, they will know. And when Bilbo takes this cup, Smaug wakes up, instantly realizes a cup is missing.
Yeah.
And I just want to read how Tolkien describes the blind rage that Smaug feels. Thieves, fire, murder. Such a thing had not happened since first he came to the mountain. His rage passes description. The sort of rage that is only seen when rich folk that have more than they can enjoy suddenly lose something that they have long had but never before used or wanted.
Yeah.
And that made me think, like, own the gray. He said that, and I was just like, you don't hear it, do you? It's just been so long since you've talked to a normal person. You don't hear it anymore. Own the gray. You're literally asking a hobbit to kill a dragon.
Well, I mean, like, it wasn't not part of your job description. You know what I mean? Like, that's why we
never explicitly said don't kill dragons.
At the end of the job description, it's just like, and whatever else we decide you might do.
Now, like, I know I didn't give you the tools to slay a dragon, but if you, through innovative thinking and resourcefulness, had maybe used one of those dwarven spears on the wall, you could have slayed the dragon. You could have owned the gray, and you could have gotten an award at the end of the year of a monetary value.
Yeah. I have received gift cards for stores for only specific items in a grocery store, only in a town that I don't live in, for Christmas.
You know the difference between Thorin and a corporate tool? The corporate tool would have insisted that the company owned the magic ring Bilbo found on the job.
Yeah, that's true.
The man who expected a hobbit to slay a dragon had more realistic... he had more realistic expectations of his employees than a modern American executive. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
we're not here to talk about that. Own. That's why he's Gandalf the Grey, because he owns it. That's all I'm saying.
God damn it!
Yeah, he's the only person who thought when he came back as Gandalf the White that it wasn't necessarily an upgrade.
Yeah. Because now he's only doing his job description, and that's just...
Now that was Gandalf quiet quitting.
Yeah.
Because now he's just gonna leave as soon as it's done.
Yeah, that's true. He does do that.
He's not gonna hang out. Yeah, he's not gonna hang out and make sure everything's okay. Gandalf the White's just doing the exact job description, and then he's out. He stopped owning the Grey.
That's disgusting. He quiet quit when he fought that battle.
No, what do they call it now? They're not calling it quiet quitting anymore. They're calling it resenteeism.
Like resign or resent?
Resent. They resent their jobs, so they only do the bare minimum. And it's a tricky problem for managers. I actually read this in an article. It's a tricky problem for managers because you have a hard time finding cause to fire them because they still do what they're asked to do. They just don't own the Grey.
Yeah, I'm willing to do more work if you give me more money. I'd like to own the green, actually. Could I do that instead? I'll slay that dragon, but instead of 1/14th, I want 1/12th. Yeah, you know what? 1/11th of that treasure.
And again, here's the thing. By simply getting 1/14th, Thorin, I was ready to come in here and like be mean to Thorin until I had that meeting this afternoon. And I started thinking about Thorin's leadership. And like, honestly, Thorin, clueless as he is, no plan, probably going to get all of them killed. He is running an employee-owned business. He is paying them all an equal share. They all kind of get a vote in what happens. And honestly, like, I would rather die on Thorin's nonsense quest
you get to see the world at least.
Yeah, no, literally, I would rather die on Thorin's quest than work one more day at my normal job. If a dwarf showed up at my apartment tomorrow, uninvited, and demanded I make him breakfast, I don't know. It would depend. Are they like D&D dwarves? Can he rip my arms out of their sockets? If so, I might make him breakfast. Otherwise, I'd be very disinclined to do that. But if he's like, hey, we might die, but it's an all or nothing enterprise here. Employee owned. We're splitting the shares equally. Everybody gets at least one company provided sword. And there may be ponies.
I'm pretty sure they give the money to your next of kin too if you die on the quest. I think that was part of it.
Shit, that was in the contract. My God, oh my God, this is actually an amazing deal. I'm so not joking. If someone, this is a hypothetical that I'll never have to answer to. Yes, but in my heart of hearts, I believe if somebody came to me with this offer tomorrow, I would take it.
All right. So yeah, now what are we doing? So
Bilbo steals the cup, and then
Smaug is pissed.
Want him to. Smaug's pissed. They want him to go back down, see if the dragon has any weaknesses, see if he can find any more information about like the area, like what are we working with here?
First, Smaug burns everything around the mountain. And he chases after some ponies, some delicious, delicious ponies, Ben.
Oh, I figured something out, by the way, while I was reading this chapter. As of this very moment you just described, 20 ponies are confirmed dead from the outset of this adventure. 22 ponies are missing in action. And if you want a spoiler, only 3 of those missing ponies are ever found.
Nice. Nice.
They had 14 ponies when they set out from the Shire. All of those were eaten by goblins. They had, and Gandalf's horse. I didn't count the horse. They also had Beorn's ponies, which he made sure he got back. Fucking smart move.
Yeah, good call. They would have gotten those killed by spiders.
Those ponies would have died so fast. Then, when they got to Lake Town, they were given 2 ponies each to carry the supplies and such for the journey. That is 28 ponies that went to the mountain, 6 of which will be eaten immediately.
So basically, the ponies They get screwed here. They don't even get a share of that treasure.
It's insane how specific he was about how many ponies have died. Like, you didn't even need to tell me they were transporting their gear. I wouldn't have even thought about it. But not only do I know how many pack animals they had, I know how many pack animals they've lost. And it's not even, he could have simply said, he takes the time out of his day to say, 3 riderless ponies were found wandering around. Only 3. He could have said all of them. He wanted you to know they died. That's why you don't name them.
Yeah, you don't want to get attached.
No, you don't want to get attached. That was Sam's mistake. That's when he named the pony Bill. Tolkien knew he couldn't kill that pony. Maybe that was Sam's genius. Maybe Sam named the pony specifically so the omniscient narrator couldn't kill it.
All right, so now we're going down to spy on Smaug. We're going to figure out how to take him out. But Smaug is ready this time. Smaug smells Bilbo. He's going to start having a conversation. And apparently, dragons can, hypnotize you almost. So charming, Ben. We elaborate on this last time, too.
Yes. And Smaug compliments his manners and says, "You seem familiar with my name, but I don't seem to remember smelling you before. Who are you, and where do you come from, may I ask?"
And he starts saying a bunch of riddles.
Yeah, Bilbo excitedly responds, "You may indeed. I come from under the hill, and under the hills and over the hills my paths led. And through the air I am he that walks unseen."
"So I can well believe," said Smaug. "But that is hardly your usual name."
"I am the clue finder, the web cutter," Spider's bane, "the stinging fly. I was chosen for the lucky number." The reason I read that was so that we would have it fresh in our memories when I read this unrelated passage from Fafnismal.
Uh-oh.
"Who is your father? What family are you from? Who are you who reddened your glistening sword in Fafnir?"
"I am called Clever Beast, and I have always been a motherless son. I don't have a father, like the sons of men do. I am always alone."
He's Jesus.
"If you had no father like the sons of men do, in what strange way were you born?"
Immaculate conception.
"I think my family is unknown to you. My identity as well." And it goes on like this. So basically the whole conversation that Bilbo and Smaug have is, in Tolkien's own words, very much in debt to the story of Sigurd.
Wow.
So there is in the Poetic Edda a poem called Fafnismal, which is about Sigurd, probably the most famous of the human heroes of the Old Norse sagas. He's Sigurd the Dragon Slayer. He kills the dragon Fafnir and eats its heart.
That's fucking metal.
Yeah, it is. It is very anime too. He kills Fafnir right at the beginning of the poem, stabs him in the heart, and then they talk for 10 pages.
Okay.
That's a thing in Old Norse in Old Norse sagas. Nobody ever dies fast. But it even says Sigurd did not reveal his name because they believed in old times that the dying words or that the words of a dying man were powerful if he cursed his enemy by name. So if you killed somebody, you did not kill them instantly, and they lived long enough to curse your name, that's bad luck.
Okay.
And while Bilbo has not killed Smaug, they have a very similar conversation. And, there was also another thing I wanted to point out. Smaug is having a dream the first time Bilbo runs into him. He's dreaming about a man. Let me see what the quote was. Oh, yeah. Okay. He passed from an uneasy dream in which a warrior, altogether insignificant in size, but provided with a bitter sword and great courage, figured most unpleasantly. Do you think that's Beowulf? Do you think this is a Beowulf reference?
I don't know. I didn't even think about it, Ben.
Have you read, like, to the end of Beowulf where he dies fighting the dragon?
I have been assigned to read Beowulf on a number of occasions, Ben.
Have you read Beowulf?
I have read it 0 times.
Well, I hear Unsighted's doing an episode on it, so maybe you can listen to that. I think that's a reference to Beowulf. Tolkien, I believe he was working on a translation of Beowulf, and Beowulf, his death is at the hands of a dragon. He and the dragon kill each other.
Okay.
And Beowulf is a man with a bitter sword who figures most unpleasantly in dragons' dreams. That's something neat for the Beowulf fans out there. You should read it. Maybe it'll be more interesting if you know you can get all these Hobbit in-jokes. Maybe not. But yeah, I did want to mention there's a specific letter from Tolkien where he says, oh, you'll enjoy this, actually. This relates to what I was just saying to you.
It wasn't me who ripped off that Norse poem. It was Bilbo. He plagiarized the Norse. It wasn't my fault.
These are the words of J.R.R. Tolkien. I find dragons a fascinating product of imagination, but I don't think the Beowulf one is frightfully good. But the whole problem of the intrusion of the dragon into the northern imagination and its transformation there is one I don't know enough about. Fafnir, in the late Norse versions of the Sigurd story, is better, and Smaug in his conversation obviously is in debt there. So that was somebody asking him about dragons, and I guess if Smaug was inspired by the dragon in Beowulf, which he said no, he is inspired by the dragon in Fafnismal.
Yeah, I wasn't inspired by the dragon from Beowulf. Beowulf was inspired by the dragon from The Hobbit, okay?
I got one more for you. One more letter of J.R.R. Tolkien. The dragon bears as name a pseudonym, the past tense of the primitive Germanic verb smugen, which means to squeeze through a hole.
Could you say that one more time?
Schmugen.
Okay. All right.
That's how all the old Germans talked, and you can't prove they didn't. Tolkien called this a low philological jest. I did look it up. It is pronounced something like Smaug. Smaug. I think Smaug is hitting it a little too hard. I think smog is probably not drawn out enough. There's like a pause. I can't pronounce it. The point is, I having looked it up now,
Smaug.
I think smog is equally as valid as Smaug.
Yeah,
I think it's Smaug.
Which one is right?
Neither. They're both wrong. Neither of those is.
Well, in that case, Tolkien's wrong.
I don't know how he said it. There's probably a sound clip of him saying it.
He said smog. Smag.
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 You gotta really hit the egg.
You gotta really hit the you gotta really get up there. You gotta have a little bit of nasal in your voice.
How would the Swedish chef say smog?
There we go.
Schmurg.
Oh, we're going to hell. All right. So yeah, after their pleasant little talk, in which Bilbo maybe kind of sort of reveals just a bit too much information, you know? Smog proceeds to
He
try
calls
to...
himself Barrel Rider. That's one of the titles he gives.
He
which
also
is,
says the lucky numbers. So now Smog is like, all right, I'm wondering if maybe you guys are... You're either from Lake Town or you had help from there. And I know there are 14 of you guys. So... all right, I'm going to get ya. He tries to burn Bilbo into a Hobbit crisp. Bilbo manages to escape. And then... silence, Ben. Silent. It's way too quiet, Ben. That night is way too quiet. And Bilbo... So he's talking with the dwarves, and he's like, yeah, I saw there's... His chest plate is just hard as diamond, but there's there's a little hole there for some reason. I bet someone...
It's hard as the diamonds it is encrusted in.
Yeah, except for this little hole, Ben. A little hole.
The target area is only 2 meters wide. It's a small thermal exhaust port right below the main port.
Like someone who is really good at archery could, shoot that.
That's impossible, even for a computer.
But we don't have any arrows, so what are the odds anyone with archery skills is going to get this information?
Someone wielding an old English longbow with a draw weight 3 times Bilbo's might just be able to pull this one off. Thorin.
Maybe we should have got someone other than just dwarves.
Maybe there should be 15 of us, huh? Maybe we should have hired a dragon killer, too.
Well, I used to bullseye womp rats in my T-16 back home. They're not much bigger than 2 meters.
But that is where Smaug also starts planting ideas in Bilbo's head that his companions intend to betray him. He's like, oh, you're going to take my treasure. You're going to take all of it? Or a 14th of it. You're going to take a 14th of all this? And how are you going to get it out of here? You got a wheelbarrow? Do they get you a horse? They got you a guard for all the people that are going to rob you on the way back? Or do you think maybe they sent you down here to get killed by the dragon and then they take your share? Something to think about, Bilbo.
Yeah, but I got a contract, and my money is going to my next of kin if that happens. So,
Oh, yeah. Who's your next of kin, Bilbo?
I would assume Frodo, but he didn't exist at this time, so it's probably one of the Sackville Bagginses.
You know what? And then Bilbo thinks about that, and he'd rather the Sackville Bagginses have nothing. He'd rather they just burn his part of the money.
Now, he does bring that up, and the dwarves are like, no, Bilbo.
Whoa, no. Where's this coming from, guy?
We came all the... we're going to help you get your treasure back. And he's like, what? How? With guards and, wagons? What are you going to do? And they're like, Bilbo, we came all the way here to a dragon's den without any clue how we were going to get rid of the dragon. Do you really think we thought about anything logistically? We have no fucking clue what we're going to do with this treasure.
Thorin takes Bilbo aside and he's like, look, Bilbo, I am in shit up to my fucking ears right now, man. I am not in a position to be betraying anyone. That dragon is attributing to me a level of malice that, frankly, I wish I was capable of.
A level of malice and competence, let's be honest.
No jury in the world would convict me of premeditated murder. Yeah. Everything is off the cuff.
So Bilbo, it's all quiet. And Bilbo is like, something bad's going to happen. It's too quiet. Something bad's going to happen. We all have to get inside the door and close it. And they're like, nah, let's not do that.
You're crazy. Smaug's not, it's late. He's not coming out now.
Yeah, what are the odds that Smaug even knows we're here, right? Maybe he
I don't even think he's that mad.
Yeah, it was just a cup. What's he gonna do, right? And then finally, after Bilbo keeps insisting, they're like, all right, fine. We'll go inside.
Smaug nukes that entire side of the mountain.
They literally just get inside and get the door shut when literally all hell breaks loose. And they're like, you know what? You're right, Bilbo. That was our bad. maybe we should be... He's like, yeah, maybe you should listen to the guy who saved your ass. How many times now? Was that 3 or 4? I'm kind of losing count.
Yeah, just quick question, guy. Of the 14 of us, how many people here have met a dragon? Just me, huh? They're fucking scary. Okay? And a little unhinged. I'm not gonna lie. But now they're trapped.
Yeah.
The only way out is through. Their exit has been smashed. And Smaug is going to visit bloody destruction on Lake Town.
Yeah. Sucks to be those guys, am I right?
This really did work out pretty heavily in Thorne's favor.
Yeah, it really did.
Sure would be nice if Smaug and Lake Town killed each other, and then Thorne's king of Dale.
And if also in the process, maybe, Mirkwood gets lit on fire, and I'm just saying, like, there was a guy in Mirkwood who was very mean to us.
Smaug, you know who else helped us? You know who gave me that barrel I rode? It was the Elf King. In Mirkwood. I think he lives at 301 Forest Lane. It's a big cave. You can't miss it.
Yeah, you just follow the river up. It'll take you right to it. Just burn everything on your way up that river. You'll be fine.
Also, you're going to find this hard to believe. A lot of help from spiders. Surprisingly helpful guys, spiders. Oh, man, and the goblins never would have made it here if it weren't for them. While you're at it, see what that necromancer's doing.
I was just like, who else can we get? Hey, there's this guy who he stole from my family or something, and he was an elf.
You know who I am? I am Bilbo Sackville Baggins. you know what? That is actually my name. I should just introduce myself properly. Yeah, I missed a golden opportunity there.
To be just a legendarily petty dick.
Hobbits can be legendarily petty. That's kind of their whole thing. That's how that's their whole mode of conflict resolution. There's one more thing I wanted to point out. And this is just kind of a bit of trivia for you. There's a moment in this where he talks about the dwarves and how some dwarves are good, some dwarves are bad. Thorne and company, they pretty much keep their word. They are here to stir up some stuff and get a bunch of innocent people in Lake Town killed and God knows how many ponies. But for the most part, like chaotic neutral, at worst, they tend to be honorable in the way they deal with people. There was a time in the mythos when he was planning it that he wanted the dwarves to be evil. Like the dwarves were going to be the bad race.
Wow.
And I think that kind of comes from Norse myth, where like dwarves are weird. Nobody really knows what they are. The term is not used consistently. Sometimes it's interchangeable with elf. Like, it's not super clear from the myths if dark elves and dwarves are the same thing.
Well, I'm here to tell you that they're not, because America.
Well, Tolkien ultimately decided that they were good. But that's another part of the reason why the dwarves are always kind of sitting out here, like, separate at the corners of the mythology. They were sort of one of the last things to solidify in his mind before he sat down to write, especially The Hobbit. And I think probably writing The Hobbit solidified the position of dwarves as like, they're just human, some are not, they're people. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. It's all about the choices they make or the choices they have to make. So that's just a little trivia. If anyone ever asks, dwarves were once evil.
Yeah, I believe that. Now they're just incompetent.
It's not a far stretch. They're not. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the morality of the tale when we get to the end. Like, because the closer I read The Hobbit, I still love it. It's still one of my favorite books in the Lord of the Rings. Is probably my favorite series. But like, are we rooting for Bilbo? Like, what did Bilbo achieve here? And at what cost? Was it really that much worse?
He got the ball rolling on getting the dragon slain, okay? He got the information, he passed it off to where it needed to go, and he, incited the incident necessary to get a real hero to come and take care of the problem. Without
Tolkien is doing a lot of work.
Bard would not have shot that arrow to kill Smaug.
True.
But here we are.
But Tolkien's doing a lot of work in retrospect to make it seem like Bilbo didn't just want to steal some gold. Like, oh no, it was actually a noble quest to get the dragon out of the way because the dragon could have been used by the bad guy. You didn't know that. None of them knew that. That's not why they were there. This was a get-rich-quick scheme. They were just going to kill the dragon because they didn't see it as a person. At best, it was a conquering army. At worst, like, they're starting a war. And it's a proxy war. They don't even have to fight it. Lake Town fights it.
Yeah. Ben, is there anything more British than that? I think not.
No.
I think not. So that's why the dwarves are the heroes.
Yeah, it does kind of all come together, doesn't it? I'll keep that in the back of your mind. That's a reading of the text.
You know what else I keep in the back of my mind?
What else do you keep in the back of your mind?
That one fight where Ronda Rousey just got the shit kicked out of her. Anyway, final thoughts, Ben.
I almost spit my drink. I was not ready to think about Ronda Rousey. Are you talking about the MMA or wrestling or
MMA? Yeah, the two fights she had where she got destroyed.
That is an old reference.
Yeah.
That really has just been sitting in the back of your mind. Wow. Okay, what a random thought. Yeah, no, okay, so that, I guess, let's end on that note for The Hobbit Chapter 12. Do you remember that time Ronda Rousey got her ass kicked?